Oh yeah, today I feel Super Bowl. Feel it in your
Welcome to another edition of Flexin on Financials. I am your host, Nino Garafola. Today, we are going to be talking about profit centers and our goal to know profit. How do we know profit? We must first understand our variable cost, and then we can know our fixed cost. So, in order to understand our variable cost, what you need to understand is production costs. What does it take to produce an item? So an easy way of understanding what your variable costs are is understanding what production costs are as a percentage of sales. So, easy math formula for you. Production costs over sales. Aggregate production costs over sales. Now, the best way to do this is create a benchmark and see if you hit it. But before we go into what a good percentage is, we need to know how you get there. So let me show you something. For our first example today, we have 3 scenarios. And we have determined what our target cost of goods percentage in order to hit our target profit is. And that is 56.75%. So if you take sales, which is 80,000 in each scenario, and you multiply that by 56.75%, you should get your target cost of goods percentage. Now, in each of these scenarios, what we're going to show you is that this is not necessarily the best way to gauge your profit and gauge your variable profit. So in this scenario right here, scenario 1, our cost of goods percentage is 54.8%. So our total costs are $45,400. Scenario 2, which we would say is the best scenario, is $43,200 in cost of goods or production costs, which is 54%. And in this final scenario, scenario number 3, would be the highest cost of goods as a percentage, and that's 58.3%. So obviously this would be the worst case scenario if you're just looking at what the cost of goods percentage, or your production costs, are as a percentage of sales. So that's 58.3%, scenario 3, 54, scenario 2, and 54.8 in scenario 1. Now, let's take another look. Okay, so here's what we have. We have broken out our income into profit centers. 2 of our profit centers for the Prancing Pony Tavern are alcohol sales and food sales. And we also have a target production cost for each of the profit centers. So our variable costs, or our production costs, need to be 25% for alcohol and 35% for food. So alcohol sales to alcohol costs need to be 25%, and food costs to food sales need to be 35%. We see in scenario 1 that we actually did pretty well. And across these scenarios, these 3 scenarios, what we've done to make things easy is we've kept labor the same and we've kept other costs the same. So 16,000 across the board and 2,400 across the board. Now, we've varied our alcohol, and we can see that our alcohol costs compared to our alcohol sales, we actually did pretty well. We were under our target cost of goods, which was 25%, and we did, in this month, 24%. So we got 1% profit from this profit center. Now, in our food, we actually did really, really well. We did 33% instead of 35%, which is our benchmark, so we saved 2% for profit with our food costs. That's how we get our $43,900. And that's how we get our total cost of goods percentage to sales, which was 54.8%. Now in scenario 2, where we actually had the most profit, this was actually our least profitable month when you look at profit centers. So you know you're going to have to be doing work. So our alcohol sales were $40,000. Our food sales were $40,000, giving us an $80,000 income. Now, alcohol sales were 26%, our alcohol costs, pardon me, were 26% of our alcohol sales. And our food costs were 36% of our food sales. Now, as we can see, this 26% is above our target, and 36% is above our target. Now, you might be saying, hey Nino, I actually have 54% instead of 54.8%, so lower is better, right? Because my costs are lower here than they are here, even though we have the same sales. And I could say, sure. But if these are our cost of goods percentages that we want to hit, what if this is our next month right here, where we actually have really, really bad month when it comes to our total cost of goods? So this is where we switch back to alcohol sales being 10,000, food costs being 70,000, and our total sales being 80,000. So same scenario as this. And we actually do better with our alcohol sales. With our alcohol percentages, we corrected those this next month, so 24%. So we again saved 1% for profit in this profit center of our alcohol. So instead of 25, which we were supposed to do, we did 24. But our food sales were again 36. We could not get those down to 35. And again, our labor is what it is. Now, just from it ticking up 1%, look at how much profit we lose. Our costs are now $46,700 because we were unable to get our food costs lower. That is the power right there of looking at profit percentages or profit centers in order to detail out what our profit is. I am Nino Garafola. That's going to wrap up this segment of Flexin on Financials. Catch us on our next one.